Okay, we're gonna be watching some more Pars. Starting with this one.
I am reporting live from a dead whale. But why am I here? Well, the year is 1970 in the town of Florence, Oregon, where a 14-metre, 8-ton dead sperm whale has spawned on the beach. And the reason that is a problem, beyond smelling like shit,
We don't have
is
school.
that when you leave a dead whale microwaving in the sun for too long, they have a chance to explode. So, this raised the problem. How the fuck do you get rid of an 8-ton dead body? Because that big bastard's not fitting in the boot. Well, at the time, the Florence Beach was the responsibility of the Roadworks Department. The Roadworks Department, however, had no fucking clue how to fix that, so they held a meeting to figure it out. What if we lift it up onto a truck? Our crane is rated for a ton. That thing weighs 8. You're like you trying to squat a fucking elephant. What else?
Why
What
would
if
you
we
try
cut
to
it up
do
with
that?
chainsaws? What part of it explodes did you not understand? What if we...
He understood nothing. And this dude here, this looks very dumb.
blow it up?
Fuck, it's genius. I didn't know
Never
I
do that.
could
Nope, nope,
So,
nope, nope, nope,
Roadworks
nope, nope.
called the Navy and asked if they were allowed to fucking atomize it. And this, being the USA, the
Nope.
Navy fucking approved it. Which is why I am now standing here with a giant crowd of spectators and a bloody news crew in front of a whale stuffed to the fucking blowhole with TNT.
That's a bad idea.
What could possibly go wrong?
Everything.
Well, as it turns out, no one on the road crew had a fucking clue how much TNT to use.
We're not sure just exactly how much explosives it'll take.
So to make sure it got rid of the whale, they used 500 kilos. That's what could go wrong. The crowd looked up in horror as whale chunks were launched 250 meters into the air. Everyone was coated in a fine mist of rotting flesh as they ran for their
That's
lives
disgusting.
to avoid being crushed by falling pieces of Mr. Krabs' daughter. And while
Okay,
no
I got a very good question. How does a crab have a whale for a daughter? It's a very good question.
humans
Did he
were
adopt?
squashed, one piece of whale crushed a man's fucking car. But the funniest part is even after enough TNT to level a house, they did it wrong so it didn't get rid of the whole whale. They still had to fucking bury it.
I hate you.
I am reporting live.
Okay, that is funny.
This is the world's most poisonous bird, which is weird considering it does not naturally produce any toxins whatsoever. So how the fuck does that work? Well, this flying carrot is a hooded patooey, and it's basically nature's version of Kirby. But not because they eat a lot. No, this little guy was discovered in Papua New Guinea back in the late 1980s by a scientist named Jack Dumbarker. And while handling the patooey in the field for his research, he very scientifically discovered a super cool bird fact. Touching them made his skin tingle like TV static before
That should never happen.
it went numb
am I only
and
doing
then
2
started
damage?
to fucking burn.
I defeated a.
Upon further research,
This
he
guy
discovered
claimed
that
my
may
existence.
possibly have been because the secret herbs and spices God used to coat
Hey,
this sentient
anyway.
KFC bucket from beak to talon was fucking batraka toxin. The same shit that coats poison dart frogs, otherwise known as one of the most potent neurotoxins on the entire fucking planet. Because of course it's fucking neurotoxin. I cannot go 5 minutes without it being fucking neurotoxin. But like I
Poor
said,
Parz.
they don't naturally produce it. No, they eat it. See, these fuckers love to eat these things called merillid beetles. And those beetles evolved batrachotoxin specifically to avoid being eaten. That sign, however, did not stop the patooey, because it can't fucking read. Also, they have poison immunity. So, they eat the bugs, absorb their poison build, and redistribute it to their feathers and skin. Now, any parasites that bite them fucking die, touching them hurts you, and anything dumb enough to eat this forbidden zinger box enters the forbidden sleep.
That's funny.
Did you know that whales can explode? Yeah, these bad boys can turn themselves into an all-natural IED, but they can't explode on command like a creeper. No, in order to pull a Rexplode, it needs to be fucking dead first. In fact, it's got to die in a very specific way. See, usually, when a whale carks it, that fucker sinks like a stone and gets hoovered up by bottom feeders. But if it manages to wash up on shore, or it dies by beaching itself, there's nothing to eat it. No, what that house-sized corpse does do is sit there, frying in the fucking sun, starting to rot. Now, a fun fact about rotting corpses, they go through this cool process called putrefaction. Basically, all the bacteria in your gut start to break down your flesh, which produces a shitload of different gases. And if nothing punches a hole in the whale, that gas has nowhere to go. So the corpse begins to swell and inflate like a fucking balloon.
Oh, I didn't know I had that mod on.
And it will fill with gas until its body can't fucking take it anymore, at which point it basically becomes a fucking boomer from Left 4 Dead.
We got a boomer.
The force of the gas can cause the skin to split and then Free Willy explodes all over the fucking beach, but anyone touching it could cause it to explode as well. Which is why if you see a whale corpse on the beach, whatever you do, do not fucking touch it.
Why would we want to touch the dead whale? Why?
I just told you, don't fucking touch.
You've killed us, Patrick. You've killed us all.
I can fix your fear of snakes with this ridiculous creature.
It's a sock. It
No,
looks like a freaking
that
sock.
is not a snake skin sock puppet. That is an actual, real animal on this planet, and it's called the Arabian sand boa. And you may be wondering, why does he look like that? Well, no. As much as it looks like it, God did not design this thing in the Spore Creature Creator after 10 fucking beers. No, it looks like a strand of spaghetti with googly eyes for camouflage. So, I'm going to give you exactly one guess as to where an animal called the Arabian sand boa is found.
The deserts
That's
in
right,
the Arabian.
deserts of the Arabian Peninsula.
Yeah,
If you
desert.
got that wrong, I don't know what to fucking tell you, man.
You stupid.
No, not.
And in order to survive in that air fryer, the sock here needs two things. Food, and not to be turned into food. Which is rather hard, considering this is not a fucking danger noodle, okay? This is a defenseless noodle.
Help me.
It is only 15 inches long, it has no venom, and the bite of an old lady without her fucking dentures in. So how does it survive? Simple. Digs a fucking hole like a Night 1 Minecraft player. See, they're nocturnal, so during the day, they bury themselves completely in the sand, which allows them to take a nice little nap without getting snatched up by a fucking bird. Then, once night falls, those fuck-ass eyeballs finally serve a purpose beyond looking ridiculous. And that purpose is to sit just above the sand like a submarine periscope and scan for food. They then just wait for a mouse or lizard to get close before this vicious creature pops out of the sand like the worms from June and eats it. I'm sorry, I find the idea of this stupid fucking snake killing anything so funny. Like, just imagine the last fucking thing you see before ascending to the pearly gates is fucking that.
This game is the best game ever created.
I can This is the world's most disgusting bee.
Brother,
Yeah, that is a vulture bee, found on the Tyrannid hive continent of South America, and you are probably wondering, what makes it so disgusting? And that's pretty easy to answer. It eats fucking rotten corpses. Well, at least that's one thing that makes them gross. Yeah, the Left 4 Dead zombie diet is actually just the tip of the iceberg on how fucking disgusting these things get. But before you learn the rest, I gotta teach you about bees.
you like jazz?
See, a normal beehive runs on two main resources, nectar and pollen. Nectar is used to create Winnie the Pooh's honey, and pollen is used as a source of protein. Now, the issue is vulture bees can collect nectar, but they are physically incapable of picking up pollen. So where do they get their protein? Well, basically, roadkill. Instead of flying around and looking for a lovely floral arrangement, vulture bees will surf the skies until they spot a rather delectable looking maggot-ridden corpse, which they will then cave dive inside of through the fucking eye sockets. Oh yeah, I told you they got grosser, and this isn't even the worst bit. Because once they're inside, they treat your fucking corpse like the deli at the supermarket, rooting around for the cuts of meat that they're after. But for the same reason
That's
they can't carry
disgusting.
pollen, they can't just take the fucking meat out in a shopping trolley. No, what they do is scarf down the stacks of rotten flesh like a Minecraft player who's run out of food, fly back home, walk through the front door, and vomit it into another bee's mouth. Okay, well, not straight into its mouth. They're not savages. It goes into a bowl first. And then another bee eats it. And mixes it with spit and nectar to turn it
Also
into
got
a meat
stunned.
sludge that gets eaten by the other bees. Yeah, I hope you weren't planning on eating anything anytime soon.
Who wants chowder?
This is the world's fastest chicken. Yeah, this is the Tasmanian native hen. Except no one fucking calls it that shit. We call it the turbo chook. This bad boy is from the land down under. More specifically, it's only found in my home state of Tasmania. And as you may have guessed
Australia
by
and
that
Alabama.
nickname, Lightning
Wow.
McChicken here is built for exactly one purpose. Speed.
I am Speed.
But before I address it violating the speed limit, I've got to address the fact that it's a fucking fraud. So despite that name, it is not remotely related to a chicken. It's actually from a family of waterfowl called rails. It's around 50 centimetres long, tips the scales at 1.5 kilos, and importantly, cannot fly for shit.
Watch your jet!
In fact, it is completely flightless. And that is a little bit of an issue because this is Australia, where at any given point, this mobile KFC bucket is a rock's throw from a fucking snake. However, Sonic the Hedgehog didn't trade in that pilot license for nothing. See, they still have wings. They just don't use them to fly. They use them as a spoiler, because when threatened, they don't fuck off into the clouds. No, Hen Racer here just drops gear into first, punches the throttle, and fucking tears off.
Oh. No. There we go.
52 kilometers an hour. I don't think you understand how fucking insane it is for something the size of a chihuahua to break the speed limit in a school zone. So let me make a comparison to Australia's other flightless bird, the one we lost to war to. Emus are 2
Emus,
meters
yes.
tall, and when they run, they cover
Why
3
couldn't they just
meters
make this
per step.
super
That is a total of
complicated?
whole native hens per single emu footstep. So you would assume the emu gaps the fucking hen, right?
Nope.
Wrong. Ken Verstappen and the war turkey are the same speed. How the fuck? This isn't a snake. It's a bug. This is the very creatively named snake-headed caterpillar, found wriggling around in South America, and the reason
Why
they're
not?
dressed up like the average Australian resident is to scare people. See, caterpillars exist for exactly one reason: to spin up a cocoon and Pokemon evolve into a moth or butterfly. Now, in order
Give
to
me
achieve
lamp.
this, they need to be not fucking dead, which is a little difficult when everything under the sun is trying to eat them.
Mission failed.
Birds, wasps, spiders, frogs, you name it, they all look at a caterpillar as the world's freest meal. I mean, it's basically a sentient, slow-moving hot dog with zero escape strategy. So, how does the very hungry caterpillar avoid the very hungry everything else?
Hello.
Well, some choose camouflage, others become more toxic than a league lobby, but the snakehead chose cosplay. Well, if you want to get technical, the scientific term is mimicry. As we've established, caterpillars are weak, light work for their predators. You know what isn't light work? A fucking snake. Which is why when threatened, these little guys will force air and blood into their head, causing it to inflate. They then shake that shit in the air, perfectly mimicking a venomous snake. Whatever was about to eat them sees their free meal turn into fucking rattlesnake Jake, becomes shit scared, and runs the fuck away.
Why are you running? Why are you running?
You know, now that I'm thinking about it, its entire defense is just becoming a scary, wacky, waving tube, man. Australia doesn't have the... No, this is not a video of hell. This is completely unedited, no filters footage from Western Australia. And you may be wondering, how the fuck does it look like a Terraria blood moon? Well, the answer to that question is sand.
I don't like sand.
Here's a fun fact for you. Australia is the world's largest exporter of iron ore. And 96% of that shit is pulled out of the ground in Western Australia. And the reason we excavate whole chunks there is because the place is sitting on 55 billion, with a B, tons of ore. The whole fucking state is basically just a desert biome covered in iron farms. And that iron isn't just found at Y11. No, there is actual fucking rust in the dirt and sand, which tints the whole fucking desert red. And that red sand is why WA looks like fucking Caled. See, as if the animals trying to kill us wasn't enough, God has done a little trolling and spawned a tropical cyclone on WA's coastline. And the wind from that bad boy kicks all that red sand into the air, blocks out the sun, and turns whatever light creeps through blood fucking red. Genuinely thought this was Armageddon, but it is just sand sending us to the tomato dimension. No, this is not a video of hell. Wild sharks are taking drugs. Hey, recently, scientists in the Caribbean made quite possibly the most fucking terrifying discovery since the advent of the job application. You see, they were conducting a study on ocean pollution, and part of that study involved blood testing 28 sharks in the region. And when Shark RBT pulled two of Jaws' cousins over for a random test, they tested positive for cocaine. They also tested positive for caffeine and painkillers, which begs the question, how the fuck did a great white shark get great white blow? Well, no, they aren't doing a Narcos season in Bikini Bottom. No, sharks having the bloodstream of an esche in a nightclub is our fucking fault. You see, tourists and rich cunts absolutely love to swing their yachts into the Caribbean, throw parties, get shit-faced, and presumably fall into the water. And I don't know if you know this, but rich people do illegal shit. Which is how
Of course
some
they do,
Wall
because
Street
they're rich and they
banker
get away with
decides he wants
everything.
to partake in some nose beers, and in his excitement, knocks the rest of the devil's dandruff into the ocean. Jaws swims along, thinks it's food, and takes a bite. And thus, hey presto, Coke sharks.
First time trying a cigarette? Let's chase the buzz.
While
Every spring, a rare species begins preparing.
this spider throws its webs. Yeah, that creepy thing is an ogre-faced spider. And as with most affronts to God, yes, you can find them
In Australia.
in Australia.
Yep.
And the reason
Why
it's got web slingers
would
is
you
its
not
unique
find
method
a
of
spider in
hunting.
Australia?
You see,
That is
most web-spinning
poisonous.
spiders use those webs to fucking camp.
Or
Spinning
anything
it between
else.
a few branches and then falling asleep waiting for a fly to clothesline itself before casually wandering over to suck its guts out like a smoothie. By contrast, ogre faces basically pull
No.
fucking trick shots. Because instead of shooting that sticky white stuff all over the walls, they shoot it on their hands. See,
Arthur.
you may have noticed that this thing is built like an
Do you
eight-legged
want to be the
Slender
special
Man,
guest in my
and
video that I'm
is
right now
by design,
filming?
because they start a hunt by spinning a web between their forelegs.
No? Okay.
Then they
That's
will
it.
lower themselves from a nearby branch and just kind of hang upside down in the air doing their best stick cosplay. Then, when something makes the unfortunate mistake of getting too close, it will lunge downwards, spread its legs, wrap the
Spider-Man.
bug up in a net, and then
Spider-Man.
fucking yank it away into the air like it's hitting fucking Spider-Man pull-offs in Rivals.
Crack the whip.
And because this is an Australian animal, that insect burrito would not be complete without a healthy injection of venom. And then they fucking eat it. Think about how fucking scary that is from a human perspective. Walking down the street at night, some cunt hits you with a rope and you're just fucking gone. This tiny bird
Is
killed
yeah.
a man.
Yep.
But how? We see this is an Australian magpie. And why, yes, it is found in Australia. How could you fucking tell? But despite sharing a postcode with all the other Dark Souls enemies down here, they're actually pretty chill little guys. They got no poison.
Except for
they
nesting
aren't hiding
season.
a mouthful of teeth. And
Nesting season.
considering they're the length of a ruler and weigh less than a kilo, they can't pick you up and fly off with you. On top of that, they're actually really intelligent and often will form bonds with people who feed them.
Except
Most
for
of this,
during
however,
mating season.
immediately gets thrown out the window during the magpie's nesting season.
Yep.
Or, as it is better known down under,
Swooping season.
swooping season.
Yep.
See, because half of our wildlife would gladly turn magpies and their eggs into KFC, the second they build a nest, a switch flips in their brain and every single fibre of their being is devoted to aggressively defending the nest like they're a unit in a fucking tower defense game. Because if you step within around 50 metres of it, they will lock onto you and dive bomb you at Mach 5 and try to peck your eyes out over and over and over again until they run you off. And this behaviour is how in 2019, magpies caught a fucking manslaughter charge. Yeah, one day a 76-year-old man was riding his bike through a park in Wollongong, a park that contained a magpie nest. The magpies took exception to this and started swooping him. and they swooped him so hard that he careened off course, crashed the bike, and fucking died.
Oh, dang.
This bird is attempting to reproduce with that man's...
Nope.
This is the world's
yes.
most useless fish.
You stupid.
Yeah, mate, that aquatic pancake is a mola mola. Found wasting its life in oceans around the world, and a contender for the most dog shit fish build in the 7 seas. You see, these things are huge, measuring at 4 meters from fin to fin,
Oh, yeah,
and absolutely
does not feel
atomizing
pain.
the scales
Does not feel
at
any pain.
2,300 kilos, putting it firmly in the same weight class as a fucking F-150. There is, however, a problem with that size. That is all it's good at. It spent every available stat point on being a giant floating satellite dish at the cost of spending its life as a useless fucking punching bag. To start with, the thing can't even swim properly. Their fins, specifically their tail, is tiny compared to the rest of their body, which makes them so at maneuvering. The only thing they can eat is jellyfish and plankton, because those don't dodge. Speaking of food, you may have noticed that in all of these photos, its mouth is open.
You can't close
That's
it.
because it doesn't fucking close. God has cursed the fucking thing to permanently pop. Oh, but evolution is not done fucking the sunfish yet. Funnily enough, being the size of the average American meal while having the defensive capabilities of a Tickle Me Elmo makes
It is the
these
size of my
things
meals.
perfect targets for predators. Most of the time, animals just take fucking bites out of them, realise they taste like shit, and then swim off, leaving a hole in their head, which somehow doesn't kill them.
You have any ibuprofen? I got a headache.
That disgusting flavour is probably due to the 50 fucking parasite species living on its body, but flavour doesn't matter to sea lions, who will rip their fucking fins off and play frisbee with them. And if you thought it couldn't get any worse, they will often swim to the surface to warm themselves up and let birds eat the parasites off of them, where they are promptly hit by a boat. Their only saving grace is that they don't process pain because their brain is the size of a testicle. They are blissfully unaware that they spend their entire fucking life getting jumped. Like that! Like that! This is the...
Alright.
Yeah, in that game, Ravens watched me and Xavier playing Romeo and Juliet.
Make sure to like and subscribe.
One of the things is they're passive if, like, you can go down.
The
and
world's
get, like, 30
most...
seconds to get revived, or you die, and they have to buy you back.